I'm not necessarily ready to put them back in the top five and say, man, the Eagles are back, because it just doesn't feel that way right now. They will go as Jordan Love goes. The Dallas Cowboys are in a great position offensively. In the grand scheme of things, this was a lost season for the Giants anyway.
Richard, let's talk about the Philadelphia Eagles. They go on the road. They take care of the Minnesota Vikings 28-22. Jalen Hurts has a solid game. I mean, his best game of the season, no question about it. 19-23, 326 yards, 3 touchdowns. He found his buddy, always open, A.J. Brown, 4 receptions for 121 and 2 touchdowns. I know you got to love to see that. The first, I guess, quarter of the season, this Philly offense just had no identity, and now they still can't run the football, but they finally figured out how to throw it, and they take care of the Minnesota Vikings. I'm not going to leave this game and think, hey, Philly is dominant. I don't think they are. I mean, Carson Wentz gifted them an interception. He did not look good at all. But Richard, what are your thoughts on this Philadelphia Eagles team? They escaped Minnesota with a win.
I think this was really good for the locker room. Obviously, there was a ton of frustration going on, both with the pass game. Both receivers were frustrated. Saquon Barkley's frustrated. And overall, Jalen Hurts played one of the best games of the season. He was very efficient, 19 of 23 for 326 and 3 touchdowns. Again, like you said, the running game still can't find its ground, and some of it is schematic. Some of it, you don't have Mekhi Becton at right guard. You don't have a embarrassment of riches like they did before. Still kind of banged up on that offensive line. They're not healthy, and that hurts everything. But yeah, A.J. Brown having 4 receptions for 121 and 2 touchdowns and a critical catch late in the game that sealed the game on the double move. Those are the things you need to give yourself a chance late in the season and to keep these guys happy. Devontae Smith has been having good games and great games. This is one of his best games. I think this is a career high, 183 and a touchdown. But you need to have these guys healthy if you're going to have any chance late in the season. Jalen Carter being back obviously helped this defense a ton. They look like they might have lost Adoree Jackson for a bit of time. But they still made big plays. They had a pick 6 in this game, and that ended up being the difference in this ball game against the Vikings team that's obviously playing Carson Wentz and had some struggles with their offensive line. But I don't know. I still don't know what to make of this team. I'm not necessarily ready to put them back in the top 5 and say, man, the Eagles are back, because it just doesn't feel that way right now. It still feels like there's some hiccups there, some struggles that are unnecessary. There's not enough balance. Is this sustainable? Can Jalen Hurts play this efficiently, this effectively every single game? Can the defense create a pick 6 and another turnover every game? I'm not sure. I think they can win the next one. They play the Giants, so they could come back and end up splitting this season with the Giants. But I think there's something to be said that about their offensive struggles, or at least running the football. Jalen Hurts played a phenomenal game, and it still came down to the wire. He played one of his best games of the season, and still came down to a really incredible throw and catch for him against the Minnesota Vikings, against their zero blitz pressure. And so I hope they've figured it out, but it's still be seen. This is an ever-evolving league and an ever-evolving situation with the Philadelphia Eagles.
What do you see in Green Bay? Do you see them as
they will go as Jordan Love goes?
Still.
Well, and I know Green Bay Packers fans, and I know we're just never going to agree on this because teams will not let you beat them with Josh Jacobs. They will not. They will, if that's your best and you're saying your best player, and I would agree with you. I think their best bet is when Josh Jacobs gets going, everything else opens up. They're a really good offense. But when Josh Jacobs gets stopped, when teams stack the box and find a way to stop Jacobs, can Jordan Love beat you? And if that's what teams are doing, then is Jordan Love the guy? You know what I mean? Because if they're going to say, hey, we're going to make him play quarterback and beat us like that, and we're going to say, hey, we don't think he can do it, then that brings up more questions than answers. But that's what teams are going to do. And if he can answer the bell, and obviously they need to get more healthy at receiver. I think Christian Watson is coming back. They need to get Jaden Reed back. But that's what it's going to come down to. Their defense is going to be solid. They've been in position to win just about every game. The Browns game, I thought they were in position to win that game. I thought their defense played well. They didn't give up a touchdown until the interception from Jordan Love, and then they were in scoring position. They scored a touchdown, ended up winning that game. But the same thing was true here. I thought Jordan Love struggled a little bit, and then some plays were made. He pushed the ball down the field a little bit, hit Matthew Golden on a deep pass, and then it started to open up. Josh Jacobs, once they got in the red zone, it was a critical situation. They handed it off to Josh Jacobs. He sees that end zone. He gets within the goal line. He's going to find a way to get in there, and that's what he did. He's a great player. Their defense had 6 sacks today. That was the big thing. Micah Parsons had never in his career had a 3-sack game. He did today. He did today because they had to have it. And he sacked Jacoby Brissett 3 times in this game. Rashawn Gary had one. And that's what it took. That's what it took. Quay Walker had a sack and a half in this game. Their defense was making plays, and they were giving their team a chance. But I don't think it should be this hard versus the Arizona Cardinals. Now, the Arizona Cardinals could definitely have a different record. They lost multiple games at the wire, last-second field goals, at least 2 of those games. This game came down to the wire, so they've been playing good football. You got to give Josh Gannon a lot of credit for the way they've been battling. They're without Kyler Murray. They're without their star running back, and I think that should be applauded. They're still figuring it out with Marvin Harrison Jr. He's had up and down games, and he's figured it out. There was some PI calls he drew today and made some cool catches, but overall they went against a backup quarterback, and it came down to the wire. And so I think there's something to be said in there about the quarterback position. And I know people are like, man, you're so hard on him, but that's the point. That's what you're supposed to be. It would be different if these quarterbacks were on rookie deals. When you're on a rookie deal, you get the benefit of the doubt. That's just how it goes. You get the benefit of the doubt. You get less criticism. You get the excuses. Hey, he's a rookie. He's learning. Once you're not on that rookie deal and you're one of the highest paid players in the National Football League, you get criticism. I'm sorry. You're not going to say, hey, man, these guys making $55 million. They don't have to be elite. They don't have to be perfect. Like, give them a break. Like, what? Then what do we say? Then what do you want us to say? Man, they don't need Jordan Love to play better. He can just keep doing like this. It's up to everybody else to play better and to lift him up. And Josh Jacobs got to do everything. So, like, they need both. But if Josh Jacobs doesn't get going and you're a $55 million quarterback, then it should be okay to depend on you to win us this game. And I thought he made some plays today to help win this game. So I'll give him credit. But that's what it's going to come down to on whether this team gets to a Super Bowl, wins in the playoffs, or if they don't. Because teams are going to make them play left-handed. They're not going to let them beat them with Josh Jacobs running the football. And it won't be any fault of Josh Jacobs. He'll do everything he can, but they're going to stack the boxes. It's going to be 8-man boxes. They're going to man these receivers, and if they win and Jordan Love has a good game, the Green Bay Packers will win. No question about it. I believe they will win, and they're talented enough to do it, especially when their receiving core gets healthy.
Well, on the opposite side of the field, or opposite side of the ball, rather, Micah Parsons flat out won them this game. Clutch moments, crucial moments late in the game, getting sacks, taking care of the Arizona Cardinals. But his former team, the Dallas Cowboys, get an impressive win at home, a dominating win. Richard, 7 weeks into the season now, how do you analyze this trade? Because the Dallas Cowboys look competitive. They gained a bunch of assets and cap space with dealing Micah Parsons. Do you view this still as the wrong move 7 weeks into the season?
Yeah, I don't think you ever can view it as a great move. I think the Dallas Cowboys are in a great position offensively. I think to steal George Pickens from the Pittsburgh Steelers the way they did, and for him to blossom into the kind of receiver that everybody thought he'd be coming out of Georgia is really cool to see. And now CeeDee Lamb is back, and they look like an explosive duo today. The Cowboys scored 44 today, and Dak Prescott. If they had a better record, Dak Prescott has an incredible argument to be in the MVP conversation, Offensive Player of the Year conversation. He has played phenomenal football this season. And with or without CeeDee Lamb in the lineup, and for him to get his star receiver back and continue to grow and continue to play that way and continue to put up points. And now his defense is starting to show up and get some stops and give him more possessions. And it's starting to roll. Javonte Williams is continuing to look like his old self and run the football with aggressiveness and violence. I'd say both teams feel comfortable right now. Both teams feel comfortable about how it went, but the Packers are 4-1-1. They're in position to continue to win and maybe potentially chase a 1 seed in the NFC. And I'm not sure the Cowboys are, especially defensively, but I think you would want Micah Parsons on your team if you're the Dallas Cowboys. And I think the Packers would be a worse team if they didn't have him. I don't think the Packers would be 4-1-1 if they didn't have Micah Parsons. So again, I still feel like they won this trade. You won't know what the Cowboys got from Micah Parsons until the draft. They got draft picks. So how will those draft picks pan out? How do they affect winning in the future? We'll see. But right now, Micah Parsons is making an immediate impact for the Green Bay Packers and helping them win real National Football League games like he did today, had 3 sacks. So I think both sides are content for now.
But I tell you what, Richard, the New York Giants, there's something brewing in New York right now. I mean, albeit with a loss, what they have with Jackson Dart and Cam Scadaboo, I mean, as a New York Giant fan, you got to be looking at this team and saying, hey, I don't know if we're going to make the playoffs anyways, so maybe it's not the worst thing that we take a loss today. Maybe it helps us in the long run. But you got to look at this team and say, wow, okay, maybe they are onto something.
Yeah, you definitely do. And in the grand scheme of things, this was a lost season for the Giants anyway. You're not expected to win the world. You're not expected, but I think one thing is true is Daboll shouldn't be going anywhere this year. I think they're going to continue to draft. They're going to have a high draft pick. Unfortunately, I don't think they have the team to necessarily compete, but to compete with a playoff team from last year, a team that is well coached, a team that's expected to be contenders this year, not only for the AFC West, but for potentially the Super Bowl, especially with that defense. For them to come out and play the way they did, to hang in there, to really dominate for a majority of this game. Jackson Dart seems to be the answer in New York. Obviously, he struggled a little bit late when he got banged up, but he still had 3 touchdown passes. He ran one in. That's 4 touchdowns in the game. Scadaboo, 16 carries for 60 yards. Tyrone Tracy came back, made an impact, had a 31-yard touchdown in this game. And the defense had a couple of sacks, but Brian Burns got banged up. Obviously, there's some issues late in the game, but again, this is without Malik Neighbors. This is without Slayton. This is without your go-to guy. So you have to take some solace in knowing that you did this with Daniel Bellinger, Theo Johnson, Wan'Dale Robinson, and no disrespect to those guys, but those aren't your guys. Those aren't your premier players. You expect Malik Neighbors to come back and be a big-time guy. I expect him to draft likely an offensive lineman in this draft high up, but I expect him to draft more playmakers. And then defensively, you would expect more pressure, but you give Denver Broncos a lot of credit. They played well. The Giants' next game, they got the Eagles again, who they just beat on Thursday night. We had them. The Eagles coming off a really good win where their offense looked really special. Their wide receivers, both of them had over 100 yards in the game. Jalen Hurts threw for over 300 in the game, and he looked really proficient, especially late in that game. So I'm looking forward to that. Can they match the energy they had against them a couple weeks ago? We'll see.